Like, share, and subscribe to help grow the channel in providing helpful information. Now let's dive into our topic. Does the mere mention of sugar send your health-conscious mind into a frenzy? Sugar, a simple word that's been branded as the arch-enemy of health. But what if we told you there's more to sugar than meets the eye? Recent research has been shedding new light on this supposed villain. Contrary to popular belief, sugar is not entirely the health hazard it's made out to be. In fact, it appears to play a significant in our body's intricate system. In the kidney, for instance, sugar helps in the important work of retaining electrolytes. These essential minerals aid in carrying out numerous bodily functions, from maintaining hydration to ensuring proper nerve and muscle function. Sugar, it turns out, has a hand in keeping us balanced. Now let's talk about the types of sugar. Fruit sugar, even in the form of juice, has differing effects in the body than processed sugars. The sugar found in fruit, fructose, comes along with fiber, water, and various beneficial compounds, so it's not the same as the sugar in a candy bar. Moreover, in the realm of cognitive function, sugar has shown to be beneficial. It's our brain's preferred source of fuel.
Let's get into sugar a little bit now. I don't want to spend too much time here, but it is interesting that there's been this war between processed sugar, and I'm saying that intentionally, and fat for a long time. And when I wrote the carnivore code, I looked at literature that said that fructose was harmful for humans. And I thought, okay, sugar is bad for humans because sugar is sucrose, and sucrose is a disaccharide, and that contains glucose and fructose, and that looks to be bad for humans. I mean, there's a pretty decent amount of evidence in humans that fructose in the form of processed sugars or high fructose corn syrup doesn't look to be great for us. Now, for me, it was a pretty interesting and eye-opening experience to have issues on a carnivore diet myself that were related to long-term ketosis and electrolyte issues, and then add sugar-containing foods into my diet, fruit and honey, which I would call whole food sources of sugar, and to see my labs improve in many ways. My fasting insulin stayed low, my fasting blood sugar went down, my A1C went down, my muscle cramps went away, my testosterone went up, my sleep got better. And at the same time, I was kind of looking at the research, and I didn't really believe the research when I first saw it because it sounds kind of hand-wavy or it sounds like voodoo. But I think that there's something, my perspective, and you may disagree with me on this and we can talk about it. When I look at the research on fruit, and there's an interesting amount of research on fruit and even fruit juice in humans, they appear to be unequivocally beneficial. I know that even the likes of Robert Lustig have argued that fruit may not be bad for humans because it contains fiber, and that may mitigate some of the absorption of fructose. But when I go further, and I just released a couple of weeks ago a podcast on fruit juice, and so I looked at all the research I could find on fruit juice, watermelon juice, pomegranate juice, cherry juice, grape juice, orange juice. All of these have minuscule amounts of fiber, and they seem to be pretty beneficial for humans with outcomes that show decreased oxidized LDL in vitro, which is really the only way to study oxidation of LDL, improved endothelial function, decreased products of oxidation in humans, decreased inflammatory markers, certain prostaglandins. The list kind of goes on and on. And I was kind of wide-eyed thinking like, okay, even fruit juice looks to be beneficial to humans in so many ways. And I'm happy to share the studies. I think we can put the studies on the screen and the YouTube corroborating all of that. I mean, I'll say this and then I'll be curious for your response. Watermelon juice is so interesting to me specifically because there are multiple studies in which they give people glucose. So they'll do an oral glucose tolerance test, an OGTT, and they'll infuse glucose and make people hyperglycemic, essentially with a quote unquote processed sugar. And you see micro and macrovascular dysfunction of the endothelium when you do that. But when you give people watermelon juice along with an OGTT, it attenuates all of the negative effects of the OGTT at the level of the endothelium. So it's really interesting that I think you could even make an argument that fruit juice is even like an antidote to processed sugar. I don't think processed sugar is good for humans, but I wonder, I mean, do you think it's possible that we are conflating research with processed sugar and high fructose corn syrup with fruit, and saying that fruit or fruit juice is bad for humans based on research done with processed sugars, which don't really behave the same way in the human body?
Glucose, a type of sugar, is an important energy source needed by our cells to perform tasks. Without it, we might find ourselves in a mental fog. In the realm of athletics, sugar is a game changer. Athletes often consume sugar-laden drinks for quick energy. The sugar in these beverages helps replenish glycogen stores, allowing athletes to maintain their performance and recover faster post-workout. Now, it's important to clarify that these benefits are linked to sugar in moderation. Overconsumption, as with anything, can negative health effects. The key here, balance. It's about understanding that sugar, like any nutrient, has its place in our diet. So today we've debunked some myths about sugar. We've learned that sugar, in moderation, can have positive effects on our health. It helps our kidneys retain electrolytes, fuels our brain, and aids athletes in their performance and recovery. We've also reminded ourselves of the importance of balance. Yes, sugar can be beneficial, but it's not a free pass to overindulge. As with any nutrient, it's about understanding where it fits in our and how we make the most out of it. Sugar, it seems, is not the villain we've made it out to be. It's a misunderstood hero of sorts, playing its part in the grand scheme of our health. So next time you hear the word sugar, remember, it's not all bad news.